I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make Cheeze. Let's go. That's all I fucking hear, cause I got.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. Y'all already know the motto: no gimmicks, only the real. This is episode 13. Man, it feel like I haven't done this in a while. But now we back to regularly scheduled programming. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to every single person that went out and checked out my first official interview with Derek Scooter Davis. I dropped it a couple of weeks ago. I appreciate all the feedback. It was nothing but good feedback, nothing but love. Just be on the lookout. I'm going to have plenty more of that coming soon, plenty more different interviews with different people. So I appreciate y'all for that. Also, we finally hit 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everybody so far that has been tuning into the podcast since I've been on this podcast journey. Like I said, it's been nothing but love. In the near future, I have plans to do something special since I finally hit the 100 subscribers on YouTube. I'm going to dive into a whole bunch of different things, but I just wanted to shout that out first. And don't forget to keep smashing that like button, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep sharing the content. Like I said, we want this page to go as far as it can go. So y'all keep supporting, and I'm gonna keep pushing out the content as best as I can. As y'all can see, we back to regularly scheduled programming. I got my candle with me today. I'm feeling good. Excuse me. Birthday coming up soon. My favorite sports season is about to be here. Football season is back. So all in all, I'm just feeling good, man. So today I decided we're gonna jump into it, record an episode. Happy to be back. So let's go ahead and just dive straight into it. So my first topic of the day I wanted to touch on, a couple of hours ago, it was just announced that Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into week 1. It was a quarterback competition throughout training camp into the preseason between him and Justin Fields, who Pittsburgh traded for from the Chicago Bears. And I kind of got mixed emotions about this. I've been thinking about it all day on how I was gonna come at the topic, but I'm gonna just speak on how I really feel. I really think that Pittsburgh made a mistake making Russell Wilson the starting quarterback. The only reason because I just feel like we know what Russell Wilson is. We know what we're going to get from Russell Wilson. I think Justin Fields has the higher ceiling. I just think he wasn't quite given the best opportunities when he was in Chicago. You know, different head coaches, different offensive coordinators. You know, when he got drafted to the Bears, you know, they were a bad team, and then coming in, you know, being a high draft pick, they had to, you know, try to get everything together on the fly. I think they got a new GM while Justin Fields was there, so it was a lot going on. But I felt like sending Justin Fields to Pittsburgh was a perfect match because it would be new scenery. It would be a new scenery for him. And then, you know, just what Pittsburgh is as an organization, I felt like they can get his confidence back up. You know, Pittsburgh is always going to put a solid team out there. Since in this Mike Tomlin regime, Pittsburgh has always put a solid team out there. They always somehow find a way to not have a losing record. I think since Mike Tomlin has been there, last year might have been the first time I think they might have had a losing record. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But since Mike Tomlin has been there, he's had a long resume of either winning or, you know, finishing 500. So I thought that would be a good thing for Justin Fields. They ended up going with Russell Wilson. Me personally, I feel like it was kind of like a pride ego thing. Russell Wilson is the vet. You know, and I feel like a lot of people are going off. They banking on Russell Wilson to find that fountain of youth. But I honestly think this is the end of the road for Russell Wilson. I think this right here is going to be the last opportunity for Russell Wilson a shot at being a starting quarterback. And I think we need to give a shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. Even though they haven't won anything of any significance since Russell Wilson has been gone, I think they were ahead of the curve, knowing that Russell Wilson wasn't the same guy he was around those Legion of Boom days, or even a little bit of time after that, after losing Marshawn. You kind of started seeing the decline in Russell Wilson, and those things, being able to make those athletic plays, throwing off platform, all those things, you kind of started to see it take a dip. And then it was a horrible experience in Denver. Just the first year there, you had Hackett. It was the coach. A lot of people blame Hackett. They saying that he wasn't the offense and everything was terrible. He wasn't putting Russ in the best position. The offensive line was awful. Remember, Denver always had some weapons. You had Cortland Sutton over there. You had Jerry Jeudy over there, who was a first round pick. You had Tim Patrick before his injury. So Denver had weapons over there. I just think that first year, everybody wanted to blame Hackett for what was going on. I felt like he wanted Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers ended up going to the situation with the Jets, and they just ended up settling for Russell Wilson. So they didn't mesh. I think the Russell Wilson's game style and Hackett's game call, I just think it didn't mesh. So then they end up moving on from Nathaniel Hackett after 1 year, bringing in Sean Payton. And it was terrible last year under Sean Payton. And anytime, I'm looking at it like this. Anytime a team is willing to pay you to leave, it's a sign. I think they paid Russell Wilson like $37 million. Don't quote me on that, to leave Denver. And, so anytime, and look who we talking about. We talking about the Denver Broncos, who just decided they're going to start a rookie at quarterback this year. So they've been trying to find a quality quarterback since Peyton Manning left. They won that Super Bowl since Peyton Manning left. And then you get Russell Wilson and turn around and you are willing to pay Russell Wilson to leave. That right there, I felt like showed you signs that Russell Wilson was in a decline. And I just think that Pittsburgh said, you know what, this is Russell Wilson. He does have a resume, so we're going to go ahead and give him a shot. But I'm going to be honest, I find it hard to believe that Russell Wilson is going to finish the year out as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. And, I mean, that's not taking those shots at him or whatever. That's just from what I've seen from Russell Wilson these past couple of years. The tape don't lie. From what he's not the same guy. And I think Pittsburgh would have had a better chance of going with Justin Fields, because we've seen what Justin Fields has been able to. They're both mid-level. They both mid. Let's be honest. I'm just going off the simple fact based on potential. I think Justin Fields has more of a higher ceiling than Russell Wilson would give you right now. We know what Russell Wilson is. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're going to get from him. You've seen what he's been these last couple of years. I would have rather went with Justin Fields. You got Pickett over. You got Kenny Pickett over there. You still got Najee in the backfield. I think they should have put Fields out there and just build off of that, instead of going with Russell Wilson, who you already know what he is. And the minute that he make a mistake or anything like that, they're going to be calling for his job anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it would have been a real uncomfortable situation to go ahead and start out the year with Russell Wilson on the bench. That would have been the headlines, whether they was winning football games or not. Oh, my God, Russell Wilson on the bench. So I just think right here, this is a pride thing. He really didn't do too much in preseason. He threw for 47 yards in the second game of the preseason, and then he only threw for 26 yards in the third game of the preseason. So I seen a couple of flashes here and there from Justin Fields in the preseason, but ultimately they went with Russell Wilson. He was real nonchalant in his last interview leading up to that final preseason game. Like, everybody just relaxed. I think he was already kind of assured that he was going to be the starting quarterback. That's just me personally. I think he was assured that he was going to be the starting quarterback, so he really didn't have any panic, and they ended up going with him. So we'll see how it end up. I feel like I believe before the end of the year, I put Russell Wilson on the same boat with Kirk Cousins. I feel like before the end of the season, neither one of them are going to. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to finish the year as a starter in Atlanta. I think Penix will end up taking over for him, and I think it'll be a time where Justin Fields takes over for Russell Wilson. And then I find it like kind of disrespectful because I seen a quote from Mike Tomlin saying, "Oh well, don't y'all better watch out for these field packages. Like they're gonna try to create packages for Justin Fields, like use him as a gadget guy, or I don't like that. The man is a quarterback. Justin Fields should have been the starting quarterback. That's just me personally. I think if you ask a bunch of Steelers fans out there, they probably feel the same way I do, that Justin Fields should have been named the starter. But they gonna go with Russell Wilson, so we just gotta see how it ends. I don't know. Sierra must have put some type of voodoo on him or something, because ever since he been dealing with Sierra, it's been just like, but that ain't her fault. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I ain't blaming Sierra or nothing, but we just gotta wait and see. On to my next topic. Let's keep it rolling. Yesterday, breaking news, and this made me very, 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 very happy. CeeDee Lamb agreed to a 4-year, $136 million deal with my Dallas Cowboys. He the NFL's second highest paid non-quarterback, $34 million per year, $100 million guaranteed, $38 million signing bonus, the largest ever for a wide receiver. And I'm so happy that they was able to get a deal done. Shout out to CD. Jerry finally woke up from out his nap and got the deal done. I started to get a little nervous, but one thing I could say about Jerry, even though he get on my nerves, I hate when he get in front of the mic and say all type of dumb stuff, and he like to blow a lot of smoke. But one thing I could say about Jerry is he take care of his guys. I felt like Jerry is 81 years old. He doesn't have time for a rebuild. Jerry is in like we trying to win now mode. And I felt like it was no way they were planning on going into a season without arguably, however you can rank them. You can rank them top 3, you can rank them top 2, you can rank them. You're not going into I'm going to just say it like this. You're not going into a season with one of the top 5 best wide receivers in the league currently not on the field with your team, and you're in win now mode. I don't feel like my Cowboys are in a situation where they have to tank the season. I know a lot of fans sometimes you kind of get upset with the way things going. You go 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, make the playoffs, you getting bounced. But you have currently a top 10 quarterback. You have a top 5 receiver in the league. I think with this new offensive line, this new rebuilt offensive line, I think you possibly could have maybe a top 10-ish offensive line, and you could arguably have a top 10 defense. This team is ready to compete right now, and you're not competing for anything if CeeDee Lamb is not on the field. So I'm so glad that they was able to get this done. Like I said, you see what's going on with Brandon Ayuk situation. They don't know if they want to trade him, pay him, whatever. Then you see Jamar Chase now. It's a possibility that he could hold out going into week 1. He still got 2 years left on his deal. So now him seeing CD get paid, that's right there is going to push the envelope harder for him to say, hold on, nah, I ain't about to go out there and play. I deserve to get paid too. So I'm glad Jerry and them was able to come to that agreement with CD, get it out the way. He practiced yesterday, started getting them ramped up for week 1 against Cleveland. I'm happy because I'm gonna be at the game. Y'all check out whoever watched this episode. I'm gonna go live from I'm gonna be live from my main page and from the Chatting with Cheese page at the game. I will be in Cleveland on September 8th for the Cowboys versus Browns game. So I'm very excited about that. And CD will also be there too. And I'm thankful for that. Now this is my only hope. And I know a lot of people might not agree with me. They might think, oh man, what? Pay Dak Prescott. Please. We seen what Trey Lance did in the preseason. He's not it. I'm sorry. Everybody that think Trey Lance can flip a switch and he's not it. I watched the entire preseason. I watched every game, and I seen a bunch of high throws. I seen a bunch of overthrows. I seen a bunch of I'd seen 5 interceptions on the last preseason game. I'm sorry. I thought I wanted to give him a shot and just see what he can do. I think it was a swing and miss trading for him. I think that right there was maybe a leverage idea. But honestly, Trey Lance boosted Dak's. Trey Lance negotiated for Dak because, trust me, you do not want to have Dak Prescott walk out the door. You do not want to have Dak Prescott walk out the door, and now you looking for a quarterback, and the way Trey. Nah, I'm sorry. Pay Dak Prescott, please. Top 10 quarterbacks just don't grow on trees. The man was the second runner-up for MVP last year. The man, I think the man threw for the most touchdowns last year. Like, come on, like, snap out of it. I understand the media like to push this narrative that Dak is a choke artist and Dak is this, Dak. Dak is a top 10 quarterback in the league currently. And believe me, all these fans like to talk all this fly shit or whatever the case may be. If Dak Prescott hit free agency, I guarantee you it's going to be a bunch of teams and a bunch of them same fans that like to talk shit right now. Those going to be the same fans that if Dak Prescott hit free agency and they need a quarterback, they going to be willing to pay him that $60 million. Do not let Dak Prescott leave Dallas. I believe this team can win right now, and I believe they can win with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. It's a team game. It's a bunch of things that they needed to get fixed, but this team right now was in win now mode. I'm hopeful that Jerry and them was smart enough to say, okay, we got CeeDee done. Now let's focus on Dak. I know you got the Micah gonna break the bank. I know you got that looming over your head, but you could push Micah out a little bit maybe to next year and handle Micah. You gotta get Dak done now. You got CeeDee done. I'm so happy about them getting CeeDee done. I wish I had my jersey. I could flash my autographed jersey. I'll show y'all. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Get Dak done. Get Dak done. And this is how you know I ain't faking. You see that right here? Shout out my man Dez Bryant. Got the autograph right there. I ain't faking. I'm really a Cowboy fan. Everybody that know me know how much of a Cowboy fan I am. I'm happy. I'm excited that we got CeeDee done. But let's get Dak done. Let's get ready to roll into this season, and let's see what happens. My expectations ain't really that high as they was the prior years, because I ain't going to lie, that Green Bay loss disappointed me. But the way I'm looking at it this year is I'm going to just go with the flow, and whatever happens, happens. But I'm riding with them. Moving on to the next topic. So I came up with this earlier in the week. I said, you know what? My favorite season is rolling around. Football season. Everybody that know me know I love all sports, but I love football season. It's like a different kind of atmosphere when football season going on. So I said, okay, I wanted to do a topic where I listed who would be my sleeper teams going into this football season and who would be the teams that I think will fall off from last season. So I came up with two sleeper teams, one from the NFC, one from the AFC, and I came with two disappointment teams, one from the NFC and one from the AFC. But I want y'all to comment below on this video and tell me who y'all think is y'all sleepers and who y'all think is teams that, you know what I'm saying, going to fall off from last year that maybe was in the playoffs. You may think a Super Bowl team. I don't know. Might fall off. I want y'all to comment below and let me know how y'all feel on who I think, who I'm going to put out there. And I want y'all to give me y'all opinions too. So I'm going to start with the disappointing, the teams I think going to disappoint first. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with the teams I think going to disappoint first. So first, with the disappointing team who I think coming out of the NFC, and I know a lot of people, I might get a lot of pushback for this, but like I said, this is what I think, the 49ers. I think the 49ers aren't going to be as good as a lot of people are hoping. And the reason why I say that is because, one, they actually got two issues right now as far as with contracts and with money. The first one is everybody knows Brandon Ayuk. I just don't like the idea of going into a season with a disgruntled important position. Like, people could say whatever they want. Wide receiver is an important position, especially on the offensive end. And this is no disrespect to Brock Purdy, but when you have a quarterback that's so dependent upon his weapons around him, I just think you don't want to go into a season with a receiver that's disgruntled. Not saying that Brandon Ayuk is going to go out there and half-ass, because you never want to go out there and half-ass, and then injuries can happen or anything. But all offseason, he's been complaining about, wanting a new contract, or, he done interviews talking about, trade me possibly, Washington, Pittsburgh links and all that. And then, he didn't hold out, but he came to practice and just didn't practice at all. So it's like now you confident that you can say, okay, we're gonna go into week 1 with a disgruntled receiver. He been disgruntled all offseason, and then all of a sudden he gonna suit up and give you full 100% come day 1 without a new contract. I think that's hard to believe. If I'm a fan, I'm uncomfortable with that. I would have just preferred to trade him if you don't plan on paying him. Me personally. And I'm one thing about me, I'm for the players. I'm for the players getting their money and everything like that. But I'm not paying Brandon Ayuk $30+ million a year. I think you can name a bunch of wide receivers that's better than Brandon Ayuk that I would say, okay, I would give them that money. And I think Brandon Ayuk, and I'm not saying that he's trash. I just think Brandon Ayuk benefits on what's around him. When you got the best running back in football, when teams are gearing up to load the box to try to stop him, you're going to get a lot on one-on-one coverage, which you can exploit. And granted, he did that. He took complete advantage of that. But then you also have Deebo Samuels, who's a threat with getting the ball handed to him, or, short pass. Then you also have one of the best tight ends in the league in George Kittle. So I think it's a lot of factors in his production, because let's just be honest. Before Christian McCaffrey got to San Francisco, you never really heard anybody saying Brandon Ayuk was one of the best receivers in the league. I'm not saying that, but I'm not trying to disrespect him, but I'm just being honest. Like, you never heard it. So it's like, I can't have, one breakout season and then turn around and say, okay, I'm going to give you $33 million a year. I'm going to give you 32. See, the Patriots was willing to trade for him, and they said they was willing to give him $32 million, and he didn't want to go there so my thing is, do you want the money or do you want to win? Because 9 times out of 10, a team that's willing to give you the money, you ain't going to do that much winning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they said Pittsburgh offer wasn't good enough or wasn't up to their standard or whatever, but it's just like, I feel like the 49ers are stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because like I said, I'm always I'm always for the players, but I kind of agree with the 49ers on this thing. I'm not paying Brandon Ayuk $30+ million a year. I'm sorry. I don't feel like you're worth that, because I feel like if you was to take CMC off the team, take D All in, I don't think Brandon Ayuk gives you that same production. I just don't. So that right there is a reason why I think the 49ers will take a dip. And another reason, Trent Williams is threatening to not be there if he doesn't get a new if he doesn't get the contract that he want going into week 1. So you already got a disgruntled wide receiver, and now you got a disgruntled offensive lineman who's arguably the best left tackle in football. And he possibly talking about holding out if he don't get his money. So you got to go into a season, you got to go into a season with all this stuff going on, all these disgruntled players, and you think just come week 1 they going to snap out of it. Maybe they can get something done, but right now, I'm just going off based on what's going on right now. I think the 49ers going to take a dip. I'm not saying that they won't make the playoffs, because, I think regardless of what happens, they'll still be better than Seattle. I think I don't know, Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr., they got a lot going on. But right now, I would still say they'll be better than Arizona. And they'll, who else in that division? Is San Francisco? Oh, and I think they'll still be better than the Rams. So it's like, they still can with everything going on. If they can manage to just get everything straightened out, they still can win they still could possibly win their division. And make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be that same team. And then also they made the Super Bowl last year. So they got that Super Bowl, you got some teams come off that Super Bowl slump. You're going to have that target on your back. Everybody going to give you their best shot, and you already going to handicap because you got a receiver that want to get paid and you got a left tackle that want to get paid. So for the NFC, for right now, I'm picking the 49ers to be one of the disappointing team in the NFC. And for the AFC, I went with the Buffalo Bills. The reason why I went with the Buffalo Bills is because they could say whatever they want, whatever was going on between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs or whatever. You can't tell me that you lose a receiver at Stephon Diggs caliber. Stephon Diggs is a top 10 receiver in the league. You lose a receiver like that, you replace him with a rookie. And don't get me wrong, I love Keon Coleman. I love Coleman from out of Florida State. I love him. I love his personality. That's CeeDee Lamb cousin. I love everything about him. I liked him coming out of Florida State. I wanted the Cowboys to draft him if they had a shot. But that curve from that wide receiver, it kind of takes time coming in. You can't expect a rookie to come in his first year and give you. I think they plan is to do it by committee because I know they got Curtis Samuel from Washington. He was a free agent, and then they also got the other receiver. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. I'm not even going to try. But number 10, if you watch football, you watch Buffalo, you know what I'm talking about. So I think they kind of going to go on a committee thing and try that, but it's going to be hard to replace that that production from Stephon Diggs, man. It's going to be hard. And then you lost my man. Damn, I'm forgetting a whole bunch of names. Number 13. 1 second. I'll find out his name. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Real quick. Cause y'all ain't about to be like, come on, man, you forgetting all these names and all that. Nah, you ain't doing that. I'm about to find out his name right now. Give me 1 second. Gabe Davis. There you go. Gabe Davis. I'm sorry. Gabe Davis. They also lost Gabe Davis. So that's two productive wide receivers that you losing on your depth chart. Gabe Davis was that deep threat. He started to come on these last, the last 2 years, 2 years, and he ended up going to Jacksonville, and now, you lose him, you lose Stephon Diggs, so I guess it's going to be like a wide receiver by committee thing, but, it's going to take Coleman a little bit of time to, get his foot, get his grounding in the NFL. I just think that production is going to be hard to replace, and I think they're going to struggle. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now they in another thing, but you got Aaron Rodgers coming back for the Jets, so you can't even say they still could win their division because I think the Patriots gonna be garbage, and you got Miami. Miami, they good until it get cold outside. So yeah, I think I could see, honestly speaking, I could see Buffalo finishing like third in their division, and then on the defensive side. You lose Micah Hyde. He wanted to come back. They didn't bring him back. So I think he may be going to probably retire or whatever. And then you lose Tre'Davious White. I'm pronouncing his name right. Yeah, Tre'Davious White. He been very injury prone these last couple of seasons. That kept him out. That I think actually last year kept him out for the remainder of the season. The injury that he had, but he left and went to the Rams in free agency. So I just think. They lost a lot of production. They lost a lot of production in Buffalo, and I just think it's gonna be hard to replace. I mean, you do have Josh Allen, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, but sometimes you gotta put something around him, and Josh Allen gonna go out there, try his best. He gonna lay his body on the line, scramble and all that, but it's just like I said, it's hard, man. When you lose that much production, I know. The locker room things and everything with Stephon Diggs was probably getting a little overwhelming, but it's hard to lose a receiver like that and try to make up for what he brings to the. Now you got to try to make up with that. Curtis Samuel really didn't do much in Washington. I mean, when he was healthy, he really didn't do much. And then you got a rookie, Keon Coleman, who I do say I like a lot, but he gotta build himself. He gotta build himself up. And then so I think it's gonna be a little rough. I think it's gonna be rough. And then like I said, they lost two big contributors on the defensive end. So I'm putting the Bills as my AFC disappointing team. I don't think the Bills are going to be very good this year, but I could be wrong. And like I said, that's why I told y'all to leave y'all comments, because y'all can always come back to the video and say, yeah, bro, you ain't know what the fuck you was talking about. So now I'm going to go to my sleeper teams. I told you I picked one for the NFC and I picked one for the AFC. So my NFC, and I ain't going to lie, I went back and forth with this one. But I landed on the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are going to be my NFC sleeper team. And I really like what Chicago did this offseason. I really like what Chicago put together. Of course, they went and got Caleb Williams with the #1 draft pick. I love what Caleb Williams did in the preseason. I think he showed everybody why he deserved to be the #1 pick. You seen him make a whole bunch of the throws. You seen I seen a couple of clips from the Hard Knocks. You see the leadership. You just see everything. You see the charisma. That preseason game, I think the last one I seen him in, I can't remember exactly who they was going against, but you seen him just out there making all the throws, the off-platform throws, being able to extend the plays. He scrambled in for a touchdown. Just you were able to see his whole package. In the first preseason game he played in, the one where he almost got sacked, flipped it out to, I think it was DeAndre Swift. But you see the packaging. You see what got him as the #1 pick. So I think they found a franchise guy. I know it may be early jumping the gun. I'm not going to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, but it is a lot of the stuff I seen was Patrick Mahomes-esque. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say he Patrick Mahomes right now, but if somebody was to say the things that they seen, I couldn't argue with you. So I think they found a franchise guy in Caleb Williams. I love to pick up a DeAndre Swift, even though I can't stand him. I love what he was doing for Philly last year. I can't stand Philly, but I love what he was doing for Philly last year. I think Philly was making a mistake actually not giving him more carries. I love what the explosive DeAndre Swift gave to Philly. I think they should have gave him the ball way more. Hopefully if he gets utilized, and he'll have a lot of more opportunities in Chicago because they got a 3-headed monster on the outside, so teams can't really load up. So DeAndre Swift can really get off, you know what I'm saying, and have a really productive year. I like that move. And then I just spoke on it, the wide receiver trio. You got DJ Moore. We already know DJ Moore is arguably a top 10 receiver in the league. They brought in Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, again, one of the best route runners in the league. They say he's been wowing people at camp. Keenan Allen is a vet. If he's able to stay healthy, we know what Keenan Allen is. A top 15 receiver in the league as well. And then you add Adunze, who was a top 10 pick, the receiver out of Washington. You seen what he gave you in college. Like I said, he get a chance to come in and learn from those guys, and he's not going to have that much pressure. More than likely, they'll probably play him in the slot. But you seen in the preseason the connection that him and Caleb Williams was already building with one another. So they loaded. And then also you can't forget Komet, the tight end that they got. He's also a good weapon. Can go downfield, make good catches and all that. So they loaded on offense, man. The offense, I'm not too familiar with their offensive line, but if their offensive line could hold up and keep Caleb Williams protected, man, he has plenty of options. So I like the moves that they did. Then on the defensive end, they traded for Montez Sweat last year. He ended up coming over there, making a huge impact, making a Pro Bowl, and I think they gave him a contract extension off, you know what I'm saying, when they traded for him. So they locked in with that. He one of the top DNs in the league. Tremaine Edmonds, the Buffalo lost him as a linebacker. You got him over there. He got that leadership. You know, he's been in that role before. So you know their defense, that Bears defense is probably gonna be solid. Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners in the league. Me personally, I would say he's one of the best corners in the league. He's another one I wanted my Cowboys to possibly trade for last year when he wanted his contract. So, and then you got Jaquan Brisker, the tight end. I know him from Penn State. I liked him coming out of Penn State, but he's been solid since he's been in the league. So all in all, I like what the Bears did, man. And they my sleeper team. It was either between them or Atlanta. Because I kind of like some of the things that I really like a lot of the stuff Atlanta did this offseason too. But I ended up going with Chicago. I just think, like I said, I like Caleb Williams. I love everything that I seen from him. I think he can be that franchise quarterback. And that's the thing, going back to my first topic with Justin Fields. they built around Caleb Williams off the rip. You know what I'm saying? They ain't build nothing. They didn't get Justin Fields a solid wide receiver one until last year with DJ Moore. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Williams coming in the league with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, but long story short, I like what I seen. I like what the Bears did this offseason. So the Bears are my NFC sleeper team. I think the Bears could possibly sneak into the back end of the playoffs. You still have Green Bay with Jordan Love and them boys in that division. And then you still have Detroit, who made it to the NFC Championship game last year. So that right there, that division gonna be a dogfight. I don't think you're gonna get. I can't trust Sam Darnold with Minnesota, so I don't think Minnesota really gonna give you. If JJ McCarthy would have stayed healthy, then I think I would have had a little bit more, not to win the division, of course, but just to make it more interesting. But man, we possibly could see. If depending on how everything goes, this could be, man, we possibly could see 3 teams come out of that division with Green Bay, Detroit, and Chicago. But we have to see. But Chicago, my sleeper team for the NFC. For the AFC, I went with the Tennessee Titans. And the reason why I went with the Tennessee Titans, I felt like that. I really like what they did in this offseason too. With them, everything is going to come down to Will Levis. What kind of quarterback can Will Levis be? I watched him a little bit in the preseason. He looked okay, but when that regular season coming, when it's time for the rubber to meet the road, shit hit a little different. So it's gonna all be dependent on what can you get from Will Levis. They picked up my boy Tony Pollard. And then you still got Tajay Spears in the backfield, who they felt confident enough in him to let Derrick Henry walk. So I like that they got a 2-headed monster in the backfield. They picked up Calvin Ridley. Some people thought that it was an overpay for Calvin Ridley, but sometimes for good wide receivers, you gotta overpay. Calvin Ridley is a solid wide receiver. He can give you very good production. Then you pair him up with DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins got injured, I know. But I don't know how long he's going to be. I don't know if it's going to linger into the regular season, how many games he'll possibly miss. I think his injury was like 4 to 6 weeks. So, and that was like some weeks ago. So maybe he might miss the first couple of games and then be back. But you pair him with DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Boyd. That's a great wide receiver trio for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Boyd was productive in Cincinnati. He's been productive for some years, and then you put him with Higgins and Jamar Chase, and you seen he was quietly, you know what I'm saying, doing his thing too. So that's a solid trio for them. That's a solid trio for them to have. You still got Jeffrey Simmons out there. They picked up Kenneth Murray from the Chargers. He's been solid since he's been in the league. I like Kenneth Murray a lot. They grabbed Cheeto Awuzie, another former Cowboy. He was with Cincinnati. He was way more productive in Cincinnati than he was in Dallas. It's like he took that leap in Cincinnati, and I really like what I seen from him. So that's solid for them. They got L'Jarius Sneed from Kansas City, and L'Jarius Sneed was a huge part of a lot of them championships in in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? For them to be able to trade for him and get him and pair him up with Cheeto Awuzie, man, I like that. I really like L'Jarius Sneed a lot. Like, I like him a lot. And to get him from Kansas City, he got that championship pedigree. That was a very solid move. Then they also added Quandre Diggs, who was formerly played for, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Seattle was the last team he played for. He's solid. And then they added Jamal Adams. And I know a lot of people like to talk a lot of shit on Jamal Adams, but when Jamal Adams can stay, I give you this, when Jamal Adams can stay healthy, he is a factor. He can be a factor on the defense. So I like I like their moves. Like I said, I just think everything is going to be predicated on what you get from Will Levis. If Will Levis can just go out there and be and give you solid, nobody's asking him to go out there and be Patrick Mahomes or nobody like that. But if you can just go out there and kind of like be like a Brock Purdy, don't turn the ball over. You know what I'm saying? Take the plays that's given to you, and you know what I'm saying, just go out there and manage the game and let your stars and your surroundings work for you. Man, I think Tennessee can be very solid. And I think Tennessee can have an opportunity. Now, I don't think they're going to win a division. I think Houston will ultimately win that division. But Tennessee can come in second in that division and sneak and get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They could be a wild card team. That's how highly I think of Tennessee. I think Tennessee can get into the playoffs, man, because they made some solid moves this year. So that's my AFC sleeper team. I'm going with Tennessee, and for NFC, I'm going with Chicago. And like I said, just to revisit for disappointments, I'm going with 49ers, and I'm going with Buffalo for my disappointing teams going into the year. I'm just happy football season back. We 1 week away. Well, not yet. Well, when this drop, we gonna be like a week and some change, because another week will be. Well, no, we a week. Well, tomorrow will make it a week. Tomorrow will make it a week. We officially 1 week away from the NFL season starting. Man, get your bets in order. If you in a fantasy league, I'm in a fantasy league, so I'm gonna be keeping y'all updated on that too. Get your fantasy leagues ready, get your bets in order, and get ready. It's football season. We this close. We get some college. So college, like, what I'm saying, I'm a big college football fan, so I'm locked in for this weekend. But we this close, fellas. We this close, fellas, gents, whoever in the football. We this close. And like I said, I will be in Cleveland for my Cowboys week 1 game against Chicago. I mean, against that phone call messed me up. I will be in Cleveland week 1 for the Cowboys versus the Browns. I'm excited. I can't wait. My birthday is that following day, so they better win. But moving on to this topic, and I've been so happy, so pressed to talk about this. I've been so pressed to talk about this all day. This will be my final basketball topic until basketball season start up. I enjoyed the Olympics. I enjoyed the regular season, everything that's been going on. This will be my last basketball topic, but this is a good one though. So we going in, and it'll be strictly football until basketball season will be back around. I can't wait either. I love basketball season too. It'll be back around around October. But if anything pop up, I might speak on it. But this is what I'm saying. For right now, this is gonna be probably my last basketball topic until, basketball season kick off, unless, something spectacular happen or something crazy or something like what I'm about to talk about happen. So don't quote me. I don't know how long ago it was, but it's been in the news a lot. A lot of people are in an uproar about a quote from Anthony Edwards on his thoughts of, I don't know what the question was. I just seen the quote. I didn't see the interview or whatever. I didn't do the whole. I don't know what exactly the question was, but he spoke on the skill set of 80s and 90s basketball, and it got a lot of people in the uproar. So I wanted to take the chance to speak on it. So I'm gonna read the quote for y'all. I got the quote right here. I'm gonna read it out for y'all, and I'm gonna give my opinion on it. So this is what the quote said. He said, "I didn't watch it back in the day, so I can't speak on it. They say it was tougher back then. Than it is now. But I don't think anybody had skill back then. Michael Jordan was the only one that really had skill. You know what I mean? So that's why when they saw Kobe Bryant, they were like, oh my God. But now everybody has skill." So that's his quote. And it brought a lot of people into an uproar. You had Magic Johnson just come out and speak on it and say he not going back and forth with nobody that hasn't won any championships. Then you had I seen Kevin Garnett speak on it and say that guys in this era couldn't play in 20 years ago, whatever the case may be. So now I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. And what I want to say is, I don't even understand why this is an argument. I think when stuff like this, and I was just telling somebody this off camera, but one thing about you older, and it's not no shot at the older guys or anything like that, but one thing about like older guys, I think what it is you got guys that fall in love with their era of basketball, or fall in love with I hear it all the time, fall in love with their era of football. Man, back in the day, they let us do this, or they let us do this, or this was going on. You guys got to break out of the habit of thinking that everything somebody younger than you or somebody in a different age bracket says is taking a shot or trying to debunk anything that you guys have accomplished. It's not that. It's just a simple fact of people are entitled to have their own opinion and feel how they feel about whatever they want to feel. You got to take your feelings out of it and actually be honest. If you actually call yourself a person that really watches sports and really indulges in it like that, you got to take your feelings out of it. And I think a lot of people be wrapped up in their feelings so much and they love their era. They feel like, I'm not going to let nobody disrespect my era. But it's not nobody disrespecting it. It's no way in the world anybody can disagree with what Anthony Edwards said. No way. Like, I don't even understand why this is even a topic of discussion. No disrespect, and I don't mean this in no disrespect. The players back then in the 80s and the 90s, the skill level is so much different nowadays. It's not even funny. Like, if you look at back in the day, if you look at back then and you look at now, bro, the talent gap is so wide. Like, it doesn't even make sense. I'm not saying that guys back then weren't good, but when you talk about skill level, bro, you got guys like Kevin Durant, who's 7 foot, who can dribble like a god, pull up from mid-range, pull up from the three. He can score from every level on the floor. Back then, it was rare. You wasn't seeing stuff like that on a nightly basis. Guys like Kyrie Irving, you wasn't seeing that back then. Guys like, who else? Guys like Steph. I posted a short on TikTok and everything, and I had people, when I say I felt like Steph was the greatest point guard ever, people were saying that I was basing it off the Olympic performance. No, what I said was that the Olympic performance actually sealed the conversation for me. Bro, I understand how great Magic Johnson was. I never got a chance to watch Magic. I understand Magic Johnson greatness. But let's be all the way honest. Nobody wasn't concerned about Magic coming across half court, pulling from anywhere above the three-point line and knocking it down. You literally have to try to guard Steph 90 feet. You literally have to try to take the ball. The things that Steph brings to the game. Now, granted, Magic Johnson was a great passer. Magic Johnson was bigger than everybody. Magic Johnson had his own specific skill set. But Magic Johnson didn't scare anybody offensively like Steph Curry. That's a fact. That's a fact. Nobody was worrying about Magic coming across half court, pulling up from anywhere, from anywhere above the three-point line. And we're not talking about he's like swishing it like it's not, like some shit not even hitting the net. Watch his warm-up routine. That's what Anthony Edwards is. That's what Anthony Edwards is talking about. And for the Kevin Garnett thing, me personally, I don't consider Kevin Garnett a part of like 90s. I mean, because they were drafted like in that 96. I consider them 2000s. When I was a kid growing up, I look at like Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. I consider them like that 2000s era. You know what I'm saying? That's what I consider them. But come on, bro. Like, let's be real. Like, I heard KG say the triple step back and all that. They wouldn't be able to do that. Yes, they would, bro. Like, let's be honest. We don't even gotta talk about Michael Jordan. Look at Grant Hill. I want everybody, if you never watched it, go back and look at Grant Hill before the injuries and everything, what he was doing to them. Look at what he was doing to them. That's what I want people to understand. But people will look at that and be like, oh man, he taking a shot. And then I don't like the fact Magic Johnson brought up championships. Why bring up championships? Championships is a team sport. When you're talking about skill, you can't bring up championships. That's like I hate when people say, oh man, because I'm not gonna take you serious because you ain't never played a sport, so you can't talk about it. So you mean to tell me because Anthony Edwards don't have a championship, he can't talk about the different skill sets in the eras? Yes, he can. Anthony Edwards is one of the top rising stars in the league right now. Anthony Edwards is probably gonna be handed the torch once guys like KD, Bron, and Steph. It's Anthony Edwards. So I think Anthony Edwards deserves to be able to speak on that, and I don't think he said nothing wrong. If you watch, look at it. Go back and look at the dunk contest. They going crazy for basic dunks. Bro, you got people doing that coming out of high school. Go look at Zion Williamson. Go look at Zion Williamson high school tape. He jumping out the gym, bro. He doing most of them dunks that they was doing in dunk contests back then. You know what I'm saying? They was knocking Jordan out the air, doing all types of stuff because they couldn't. They had no answers for him. So it's like I don't understand why people make it an argument. Just look at it, bro. Look at prime Russell Westbrook. Look at prime Derrick Rose. Look at guys like that. Look at Ja. People nowadays be like, oh, Kyrie not even a point. He a shooting guard. No, he's a point guard. It's just y'all not used to a point guard with that skill set. Y'all not used to guys like Russell Westbrook in his prime OKC days jumping out of gym, putting that shit on you, putting that shit on your head. Just imagine Russell Westbrook, John Stockton trying to guard Russell Westbrook, trying to guard prime D Rose. Come on, bro. And then I see people say, well, you know, they can't be as physical. You just seen them do it in the Olympics. You just seen what Steph was doing in the Olympics where they were able to be more physical and put their hands on them and actually, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, y'all got to take y'all feelings. Y'all got to take y'all feelings out of the equation. Actually look at what it is, bruh. Like, honestly. It's nowhere in the world you could say that you watch 90s basketball and then you watch guys now in the skill set. Now, granted, it's not as physical as it once was back in the day, of course, but nobody wants to see that. That's the same thing like look at the centers back in the day to compare it now. You got Joker who can honestly do everything. Joker can bring the ball up the floor if he wanted to. He could shoot the three, shoot the mid-range. He could pass. He can do everything. Look at Joel Embiid. He can do everything. The only like one of the people who I really feel like you could take from that back in the day era and put him in this era, I think Hakeem Olajuwon could come in this era and, you know what I'm saying, survive because his skill set was, you know what I'm saying, his skill set was not I think Hakeem Olajuwon kind of was the person that put in that footwork for the stretch big. You know, he was coming out pulling the mid-range and all that. Of course, I think shocking him. And I don't think Anthony Edwards was taking shots was saying that about guys like Magic, Kareem, Shaq. Kevin Garnett. I don't think he was talking about those specific guys. But I just think people get so much wrapped up in their feelings trying to defend their era instead of just honestly just hearing what a person saying and actually taking it and saying, you know what? Let me look at it this way. Okay, he may be right, bro. A lot of the stuff that's going, a lot of y'all old heads, y'all could try to debunk this era all y'all want, bro. A lot of shit that they doing nowadays, like it's amazing shit, bro. Like real talk. And it's no disrespect. I understand. I'm gonna be defending my era 20 years from now. When it's kids that's born that never seen the guys that I never seen the guy, I'm a big Kevin Durant fan. It's going to be 20 years from now with guys, people that ain't never watched KD play, be like, man, this person, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. Shit evolves. You can't tell me that you could put a 98 Corvette, you could put a 98, a 19, no, I'm not even going to say 98. You can't tell me a 1989 Corvette can be the 2024 Corvette right now. You can't tell me that. So how can you? It's about evolution. The game has been it's faster. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, the games used to be played through the big man. Now the big man is almost extinct in this league. You got big men shooting threes, pulling up for threes. So the big man is almost extinct. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. But I don't feel like Anthony Edwards said nothing wrong. I feel like this era of basketball is more skilled than the 80s and the 90s. I feel like the competition is way better now than it was back in the day. Jordan retired, came back and won 3 more championships. I mean, that just speaks for it on. Jordan was doing stuff that they never seen. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, go back and look at Grant Hill. What Grant Hill was doing, Grant Hill was different. He wasn't like what they were used to. And that, like I said, y'all got to take y'all feelings out of it and actually listen sometimes and, you know what I'm saying, understand where somebody's coming from. But that's my thoughts on that topic. I agree with Anthony Edwards. I don't think he said nothing wrong. And, you know, everybody going to have they thoughts and they arguments on that one. Like I said, comment, subscribe. My bad. I'm jumping the gun. Comment under that and tell me how you feel. Tell me, do you think the 80s and the 90s, you know what I'm saying, they had skill? You don't agree with Anthony Edwards saying. I know everybody not going to agree, and that's fine. Everybody allowed to have their opinion. But I'm taking Anthony Edwards' side on that one. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up after that. Like I said, man, back to regularly scheduled programming. I appreciate everybody. Please, please, please like the video, comment, smash that subscribe button. We finally hit 100. Now let's keep building it up. Now let's head for 200 and above that. Y'all already know the motto. No gimmicks, only the real. I appreciate y'all.